Hello and welcome back to Realm News. I am your host, the Dark Lord. The one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. And I am excited for today's episode, folks. I have a guest who you are all very familiar with. Well, as long as you've been a long-time listener to the show, you are familiar with this person. His name is MichaelTBH, or at least that is his handle on Twitter, which is now X. This will be MichaelTBH's third time on the show, and he is the perfect repeating guest to have on Realm News. I have been following MichaelTBH on Twitter since the genesis of the show, and I have a great appreciation for how his mind operates when it comes to Minecraft and his knowledge pertaining to this wonderful game. Today, I will be discussing with him all of the amazing drops that have been, dropped since September 28th. Such as the bundles of Bravery, the Pale Garden, and everything included in this biome, such as the Creaking Heart, the Creaking, the Pale Oak Set, Resin, Eyeblossoms, and Hardcore Mode. We have a lot to cover, so shall we start the show? Let's begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Realm News. I am your host, the Dark Lord. And as I said in the intro, I have a very special guest today. And you are all familiar with him. His name is MichaelTBH. He's been on the show several times now. Michael, welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. It's been a lot has happened in
A
Minecraft,
ton.
so I wanted to come back on to talk about it because my God, we have a lot to talk about today.
I know we've been in communication with each other through Twitter and Uh, yeah, just since September 28th, the live event, I remember we were texting each other and I was like, we're going to have to make another episode because this is insane. And then just this week, bam, some more stuff. It's just relentless how much they're dropping on us in a good way. Um,
Yeah, it's very unexpected, and I didn't. A lot of people didn't expect this. I don't think. I mean, I with the winter drop with the Pale Garden, I did not expect any of this. I'm not gonna lie.
not, not at all. And
No,
I, I'm wondering. So you watched the Minecraft live event, right? That like live.
I did. Yeah,
And that, for the listeners that didn't, that was September 28th this year. And I was asking you that because you've seen these live events before in the past, and I was just wondering, what did you think of this one?
So like going into it, we knew it'd be different. Like the format would be different. They're taking it, I think, a lot more seriously than previous Minecraft lives and a lot more focused. I think was my main takeaway. I originally didn't like it. I didn't like the drop because I thought the creaking, as we now know it, was end related. I thought it was to the very obviously we had leaks beforehand.
Mm.
Um, so a lot of people like myself kind of knew, but I was in denial. I'm going to be honest. Um, so I was like, okay, it's got to be an end update. But then how's that going to work with the new drop system? Because we knew that was coming before Minecraft Live talked about it. We knew because they spoke about it. Um, I thought looking back with like a clearer mindset, I thought it was really good. Um, I thought they focused a lot more on the game. Of course, they had to focus on the Minecraft movie,
Yeah.
and obviously that's a whole other thing. Um, but the game itself, I mean, they even had like a panel after, like before or after it, talking about the creaking and the like pale garden and stuff like that, which is something they don't really do. And it was really nice to see them off script, non corporate kind of thing, just playing the game, you know?
I think you put that in a good way. Actually, I'll admit this. This was my first time watching it live in
Mm,
real time. So even though this was recorded, but you know what I mean,
yeah,
like when it was actually
yeah.
aired. And so for me, it being my first live event, um, I enjoyed it, the whole thing, the whole experience. I liked. how they paid homage to the Minecraft community at the beginning in their pre-show, and
Mm,
then I was thoroughly impressed with everything. At the time, though, I thought that that I guess the least satisfying part of it was when they just mentioned bundles of bravery, and
mm,
I think it was Agnes Larson that mentioned it in that live event, and they didn't really elaborate much on that. But now I'm assuming they didn't really go too far into it because they didn't wait long to give it to us, which kind of segueing me into my next question, or what I want to get into with you is this bundles of
mm.
bravery during the event that just released October 22nd, and now we've been able to play with them. What are your thoughts on
Yeah.
bundles? Are you
I really,
impressed with them, or what do you think, Michael?
I am. I think the fact that they've landed on Bedrock Edition is impressive in of itself because it took them so long to get it on. And that was the thing. I'm not trying to like slate Bedrock Edition. I play Bedrock Edition, okay?
Mhm.
But it took them so long, and they could have just added it to Java and called it another day. But I think it to both took them 4 years, you know.
Yeah,
Um, and people are like, "Oh, Case and Cliff's Part 5 is now finished," and it's like,
I
bro,
saw that.
I think I think bundles are great. I think the fact we can dye them is even better. Like the customizable like aspect of bundles is what makes them really good because you can do so much of them, especially in like multiplayer worlds. Um, I really like the fact that they're in the game. I will use them. It'll be interesting to see how much as like your world progresses. But I think they're very good for their purpose. Their purpose isn't to solve the inventory issue. In fact, the Pale Garden drop actually makes the issue worse. But
Adds so much more.
it does. But for what the bundle is and what it does for the game, I think it does perfectly. Honestly, I'm biased, but yeah,
That's interesting. Have you so you've made them and tested them out for yourself. Have you noticed, let's say in your chest or on hand inventory, has it opened up
yeah,
the slot spaces for you?
yeah. So like, I'll do like a little like so I was doing when bundles came out. I was doing my chest room, for example, and I remember having like loose blocks like dark oak planks, cobblestone,
Mhm.
like string, all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, this is like 10 slots of inventory space,
Yeah.
but it all equals to a stack. You put it in there, that's free space. And it's just you can do so much more, and it's not like a chest organization simulator like it used to be. I can have these in a bundle and sort them out later.
No, I agree with you, and you did mention the dyeability of it, and I do love how
Mm,
you can dye them those 16 different colors. And I was thinking I
yeah,
might want to start to incorporate dyeing my bundles like color code system. I think that'd be easier to manage some things. And I've made, I think, maybe 6 bundles so far, and I'm keeping 3 bundles on my players, like, on hand, just roaming around the world because I wanna see how much I actually use them and whatnot, and
mm,
then I think the other 3 I use in my chest, in my palace, in my world, and on a chest to see how much I could organize it, and I was impressed, and like you said, it was great for those random items. Like I guess I never really realized how many inventory spaces just these random like couple pieces just fill up. It's just
yeah.
crazy.
Like I dare you to start a new world, go into a cave, and see how long it takes for you to get like half your inventory full. Like with
Hmm.
blocks, like granite, andesite, diorite. That's like 3 slots already. Mob drops, string, bones, rotten flesh. That's like half. Like it's just all the ores, like it's amethyst, all that kind of stuff. It adds up, and you're sat there wondering. You haven't got shulker boxes on deck. You haven't got an ender chest. Like what are you supposed to do? You know.
Hmm.
So
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say like you like that kind of like choice, because it was a choice of like what do I throw away, and you will on occasion you would throw away important stuff because you're like, oh, I'll pick that up like later or whatever. I'll get more of that later. Um, that's that's probably still a thing. I don't know as of yet because bundles are still relatively new, but I think that's partly at least solved. So,
I think you're correct in that. I think this was definitely a good approach at solving or helping alleviate the inventory problem, especially
mm,
I think we've discussed in a game that's growing so fast, especially as of lately, and so many more blocks and items and mobs entering the game. It's just so much more stuff that we're acquiring while and accumulating while we explore these worlds. And I think it's a great way because I haven't been to the end yet, and I've been playing for a couple, almost 2 years now in this one world, and I'm still just taking my time getting to the end. So,
mm,
so I imagine for new players, this is just because I love it. You know, I don't have shulker boxes, so I love the bundles and being able to just just have that rudimentary form of like a shulker box, I suppose. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And they're easy to make. I'm
Oh
still
yeah.
I watched the video for, Minecraft.net put out and on them, which was cool to see the developers talk, but, I still think it would have been neat to incorporate the rabbit hide. I know I shouldn't complain because it that would have been more difficult to make bundles, but I still think it would have been cool to see the rabbit be more utilized, you know what I mean?
I think that they could have done it with either or. So like if you had leather, you can make a bundle. If you have rabbit hide, you can make a bundle. It doesn't
That's a
matter.
great idea. I didn't think about that.
Um, I think they should have done that, and I think with that you could have done something with the rabbits as well because they need, in my opinion, they need like a remodel and like an update similar to how wolves did, and bats and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I think that would have been a good excuse. But I mean, I get it. I get why they swapped to leather. It makes a lot of sense because rabbits are rarer, and the drop rabbit hide in of itself is rarer than leather. Um, but they could have done it like where you could have crafted it with either or, not both, just either or, just for that.
Mhm.
I don't know, added use, I guess.
No, those are really good points. Now, I'd like to move on to the next part here because the bundles or yeah, bundles of bravery, or am I saying that right? Sorry. Yeah, bundles of bravery. They were released with hardcore mode, and wanted to discuss that with you because you've played hardcore mode. I haven't. I haven't tested that out, and honestly, that wasn't really
Mm,
something I personally care for. If I ever, really, I might do it one day just to try it out, but it's not something I was, really waiting for. So but I did
nah,
want to. I've been watching videos of people that have been playing hardcore mode. It looks super tough. Th- Could you tell me about it and to the listeners your experience playing hardcore mode?
I mean, so like, I'm kind of in the same boat with you where I didn't really care for it that much. The only instance I cared for it was the fact that it was finally getting added because it has been so long. You talk about bundles 4 years ago. Hardcore mode was even longer. Um,
Wow.
it has taken them so long to add hardcore mode. And I guess when they added spectator mode, we kind of knew like they both go hand in hand with each other. You can't have one without the other. Um, I mean, it's tough because I don't think, especially in modern Minecraft, hardcore really is hardcore. It's just hard mode with one life. I think I could be wrong, um, but
It's
like
just
you
one
still,
heart.
it's 10 hearts, but you get one
Oh, okay.
life. So if you die, that's it. You're locked
Gotcha.
into spectating. Um, and it's like you still have access to quote unquote broken aspects of the game, like villager trading manipulation, like totems. So, like, you still have access to an item that gives you more than one life. And in game mode, where you're supposed to have one life. Like, it doesn't, you know. So, what you have to do then, if you want it to be truly hardcore, is you have to implement rules yourself. I guess that's okay. Like, that's the spirit of Minecraft. But at the same time, I don't view it as hardcore, you know?
I
I just
see.
view it as hard mode plus, which you could say is hardcore, but I don't think so.
You want to make it
Um,
super hardcore for you
I
want
think it
like the
should be.
totems of Undying taken out, and
I think it should be, yeah.
what about like
Um,
health potion? Or like should you just rely on food to regenerate
I
or
think I think there should be separate like game modes of hardcore where like one of them is natural regeneration is turned off, so you have to use
okay,
potions or golden apples or stuff like that.
that's interesting.
Um, then we'll see how many people have 5-year worlds and like all these big projects. They will not last at all. Because
That's
and maybe this is like a hot take. It's not impressive anymore seeing people with like I built this in hardcore mode over 2,000 days. Okay, if I had a totem farm that generates 1,000 totems a second, I could do the same thing. It's not
yeah.
impressive.
Hey,
You
could
know,
you explain to me as I have several totems of Undying. How do they
mm.
work? Is that something you just hold in your offhand and if you get killed you regenerate?
Yeah. So the totem will like activate in your offhand once you hit 0 hearts. It will give you like on Bedrock and Java it's different. Like they give you different effects. On Bedrock it's like regeneration, fire res, and like some other stuff. Java doesn't have fire res. I don't think. Bedrock used to have regeneration 5, which is very, very broken. Absorption as well. Yeah, that's the one I was missing. Whereas Java had regeneration 2. Now Bedrock has regeneration 2 because it just makes. I think that applies to totems. I know it applies to enchanted golden apples. But anyway, yeah, totems are basically this get out of free jail card. So literally, you go into any situation, the
Mhm.
dragon, the wither, the warden, the creaking. Oh, if I die, it's okay because I'm not really dead. I can just come back with all my hearts,
But
practically.
this may be a dumb question, but if you're holding that totem of Undying in one of your hands, isn't that
Mm.
occupying like your shield hand?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
So that's a trade-off, isn't it? You're like that's
Yeah, I
interesting
mean,
to me.
I still think the shield is better because the shield just completely nullifies creepers. So, like, it's just redundant. And it gives knockback to zombies or any melee
Hmm.
mob. The totem's just like, you pop the totem, yes, you're still alive, but you gotta get out there as soon as possible because
Yeah,
you're still
okay.
like low health.
That's
Yes,
interesting.
you regen quicker, but like you still have to like move. Whereas a shield is just I can stand here for as long as the shield lasts and not be worried. You know.
Yeah. No, that's intriguing to me. I just sorry I went down that avenue. I just was curious about the totem of Undying. But
Hmm.
during your hardcore mode, how when you were playing, how long did you last?
Um, I died at the dragon.
Oh wow, you made it all the way to the end and died at the
Yeah,
dragon.
yeah, I died at the dragon. I didn't have enchantments, which was probably a bad thing. But I was like, I don't need enchantments. You don't need enchantments to kill the dragon. Um, but I'm restricted because I can't use beds. I can't use totems. I can't use villager trading.
Hmm,
Um, so I had those rules in my head.
I see.
Um, and it wasn't even the dragon that killed me. It was an Enderman. So
Oh wow,
that's and
Enderman
that's
just
rough.
teleported up
Yeah,
behind you and gotcha.
pretty much. Yeah, and like that's
Dang.
the thing. You'll panic and you'll start making mistakes, which is what I did. And then the game punishes you, and it should.
Well, yeah, those Endermen are tricky with their teleportation ability. That I don't
Mm,
blame you for being caught off guard. But so
yeah,
you made it through, you went to the Nether, right? Because I think I saw that on Twitter you posted. I think it Am I correct in saying that when you were playing this?
I did. I made it to the Nether and almost died like 3 times
I
because
can
the Nether
imagine.
is brutal. Yeah,
I
it's just so harsh.
dislike going into the Nether. I go in there and get what I need: blaze rods, Endermen. I like to go there to kill Endermen for uh, their pearls,
Mm.
and then I get out because it's so hostile. I've died in there so many times. I think I have a stigma.
Yeah, I think out of the 3 dimensions, the Nether you have to be 100% focused, 100%, like in the zone, like literally prepared for anything. Because it will kill you. Literally anything in the Nether can kill you.
Yeah,
Um, like its terrain can kill you because the terrain in the Nether is very, very harsh.
it's
The mobs,
horrible.
I don't even need to talk about the mobs because it's just there's so many of them that will literally just destroy you. The
You're
lack
only
of food,
Yeah, no
like
food.
it's just insane.
Your only friend's the Strider in
Yeah,
that entire dimension.
yeah.
So, what do you think? What would you give hardcore mode? Do you like a thumbs up, thumbs down? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. Yeah. I think it's good that it's finally in the game. I think that we can finally like turn the page and move on, and focus on other parity issues.
Mm.
Because you could say hardcore mode was the most pressing issue, and I mean I'd agree to an extent. I think there's other parity issues that are slightly more important. Um, but I think it's fine. It's good that it's finally in the game.
Which
Definitely.
parity issues would you like to see resolved next?
I would like to see the offhand finally get fully implemented, Mojang. Um, I've only been asking for 200 days. Please put me out of my misery. Please.
Is that where you're
All I
at
want,
now?
man. Yes.
What is
Yes.
today? What is
It's
today?
like it's day 215, and it's just I'm just like slugging along and just I'm optimistic because what else could they do? What else could they do? Like, what is the next biggest parity issue? You know,
Uh,
and you could say it's terrain or it's mob AI. No, I can't use my left hand properly. I'm left-handed and I can't use my left hand properly in my favorite game.
oh,
Okay, this
oh
is a
no.
travesty. It's insane. Please, please, man. I see these people on Java with torches, but I have what a shield totem that I can't use because of my own rules, a shell which has no purpose in my
Yeah.
offhand.
Yeah,
Like what?
I've heard. Okay, I'm all for dual wielding, but I've heard the counter argument of how can they implement that into bed or I guess for like devices on tablets and whatnot for Bedrock. You know, what I mean, like what they're saying, that argument. Have you seen that?
I have, and my answer would be okay. How did they add bundles to Bedrock Edition? How did they add spectator mode? Because hardcore mode was probably a little bit easier. How did they add spectator mode? How did they add? Why are they changing the controls of Pocket Edition and making it customizable?
Yeah, those are
You
good
know, and
points.
like I was able through mods. This wasn't like an actual thing in the game, but during the Xbox One days, I was able to have an offhand, albeit I couldn't use it, but I was able to have a sword in my offhand. It was there, you know. It's possible, you know. Like we need to like stop doubting that Mojang can't do this. They clearly can, and they clearly are. I'm convinced they are. I'm hoping. Please.
I don't see it being an issue either. They can figure it out.
Yeah,
They can for sure. We've seen them do pretty amazing things with a game that's running constantly supporting millions of people, and
yeah,
they're adding these things live into, yeah, they can figure it out. I'm all for dual wielding because, and I know my brother is too. Him and I have been complaining about that for a long time. And
yeah,
it's like because you just feel like you're using just half of your ability, and it's quite frustrating. and the combat play is just it would spice it up some, I think. But I don't want to go
Yeah, I mean,
too far into dual wielding and complain about that today.
I could spend literally hours, but bottom line is, I think Mojang is focusing on parity finally, and it's really good to see. That's what I think.
I think so too, and I'm a huge fan of this new format that they're doing with the drops.
Mm.
I would like, well, speaking of drops, I'd like to move on to the Pale Garden, which was, I would say, the highlight of the Minecraft live event, right? Wouldn't
Mm.
you?
Yeah.
I would
Um,
like to
if you,
hear
if
your, sorry.
I was going to say, if you asked me that after Minecraft Live, I would have said, hell no, it was the worst aspect. But honestly, I didn't like it at first. I hated everything about it. I'm not kidding.
Really?
Yeah, at first I did. I genuinely did. Now, obviously, my opinion has 180'd, and I love it personally.
I, I'm glad that you love it. I mean, I was a huge fan from the get-go. May I ask why your initial thoughts, what your dislike on the Pale Garden
Um,
biome?
so a part of it may have not been even the thing itself. It may have just been the fact that it was leaked, and I was like,
Mm.
I knew it was coming, and I was like,
Let's
just like,
talk about that a
obvious.
little bit. I
Oh, it
mentioned
was
that
so
in a
annoying.
Realm news flash, but like, yeah, I keep forgetting that was all leaked, and we don't
Yeah,
know.
it was all leaked. Yeah,
That was
it was crazy.
I wasn't trying to report on that in my show or on Twitter, but that was you'd almost have. I don't know how you couldn't see it from being leaked.
Yeah,
It was everywhere.
yeah. I mean, I was like, um, they do. Like, it's pretty crazy that they haven't leaked anything so far. Because by now it would have, like, it would have definitely leaked. So I was like, it's pretty. Hats off to the leakers. You're not all bad. And then Mojang are like, sorry, we're going to leak it ourselves. And it's like, why?
Is that
Why?
what
And okay,
was that
yeah, they did.
purposeful?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that
think it was. I
okay,
think it was the
okay.
initial, because the initial leak, right, was like it was. I'm paraphrasing, but it was like explore the Pale Garden and the new mob, the Creaking,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, so this is just names. Okay, so it's okay. I can deal with that because that's up to interpretation. Interpretation is still possible. Um,
Mhm.
it wasn't, by the way. Um, then it turns out I think it was someone who like translated it or something like that. Someone who was given to like something was like, here you go on Reddit. Here you go. Here's the like Pale Garden, the Creaking, um, the like heart of like the Creaking heart. And I was like, right, okay, brilliant. Thanks, Mojo.
Wow.
Um, so I was gutted like when it was leaked because I was like, it was like a week before, not even that, maybe like a few days before.
It was
Um,
within a
and I was
week
just
for
like,
sure. Yeah,
yeah,
it was maybe, yeah, you're right. It was maybe 4 days. It was just a
yeah,
few
I
days.
remember. I was devastated. I was so like, bro, we made it so, and it would have been so good. I think it would have probably made my initial reaction better,
Yes.
but no.
Yeah, that yeah, I did my best to not read too much about it, but then I was like, I already saw these pictures. And
Yeah,
I do remember Mojang dropping maybe it was I don't know, it was kind of odd how they were approaching all that. Maybe I'm getting my timeline mixed up in my head. I think it was after the leaks came out. Didn't they like start posting some weird tweets of like pictures with the guy's like face not blurred out, but with like a Steve face on at the
yeah,
whiteboard pointing at stuff. And I was like,
yeah.
it's like,
It
what
was like
is
it was
this?
like the new wood. It was like um the creaking, but like a little bit blurred, so you couldn't really see it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why?
Yeah. What
Like,
that kind of seems evident to what you're them intentionally putting that out there. I don't know. That was kind of unusual. I
yeah,
think that did make a lot of people angry at the leaker, at least. I know a lot of people are
yeah.
upset. I was a little
Yeah,
disappointed too, but I was thrilled when I saw it on the live event. Like I said, I thought the live event was I enjoyed the whole thing, and then when they finally started showing us this Pale Garden, I was like, okay. I was like, this is this is pretty cool. And so you said that your sentiments have changed since then, and
yeah.
may I ask why?
Um, I think a part of it is it's just grown on me. Um, I've gone into preview and like betas and stuff and like looked around and been in like the biome
Oh,
and just seen
cool.
it.
So you've been in
A part
there.
of it, yeah,
Okay.
part of it as well as the newer stuff that we've just gotten as well. It makes it a lot better, in my opinion. Um, because a big criticism for me was like the name is Pale Garden. It was not a garden. Like it was the Pale Forest.
Yeah, that
Um,
was a lot that was there was a lot of criticism online about that.
yeah. Now, obviously, like you could say they were always going to add a flower, but it was like if you're showing off a biome that's got garden in it, surely you show off a flower initially. It's like yeah, but they showed off moss and like the new mossy carpet. It's like yeah, but I want something like new, like actually new.
Yeah.
And we got that.
So that your sentiments have recently changed, quite recently
Yeah.
on this biome. Now, so what were your thoughts on okay, so we kind of talked about the name, and I've seen a lot of people say yeah, it should be called a I don't know, pale oak forest, or there's been a lot of names thrown out there. I didn't really have a problem with Pale Garden. To me,
I don't anymore.
I I feel like there's a garden to me is something that is almost tended to, or
Mm,
something I don't know. Yeah, tended to by something. You know what I mean? It's not
yeah.
it's more managed. It's a garden. I think there's some lore implications behind that, which I kind of want to get into in a little bit later because I think there's a lot of lore implications between illagers and perhaps the Pell Garden, or I know a lot of people are already making theories based on that connection, just based off their skin alone, the illager's skin, like it
Mm.
being grayish. But
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that actually.
yeah, I read somebody making that comparison. I don't know who it was, but there's just been tons of theories going around about that. However, what were you thinking about when you saw the trees, the Palo trees in that preview? Did you like
Uh,
the wood there, the Pale Oak set that we're getting? And
so I think the new wood is like probably top three wood of all time. Um, like I think modern wood is the better one. Like I'm
Mhm.
sorry, bamboo wood isn't good. Cherry wood is okay, but eh. Mangrove wood is okay, but it's a pain to get. The nether wood, the same thing.
Mhm.
Um, this is just it ticks all the boxes for me. Like it's really
Cool.
good. The, the tree, when I first saw it, my initial reaction was people are gonna say that it looks just like the dark oak tree.
And they have.
And then what happened? Everyone was like, it's just copied and pasted. And it's like, well, that's the point. It's supposed to be a variant of the dark oak biome.
Yeah,
That's
people
why it's
don't
literally
understand that
right
whole
next to it. No.
these whole variant things. I don't know why they're. I'm not trying to criticize people out there. I think everybody has a right to their own opinion, but uh, to me, it looks fine to me. I mean, a willow tree. I know a lot of people would like to see that, and I've seen people say that compared to a sapling version of the pale oak sapling, it doesn't look like that as an adult. Which
Mm.
that's not. I mean, that's kind of a valid point. I mean, a lot of people
Yeah.
say that maybe it should stick to its sapling look when it grows up. and which is more of a willow tree look. Which willow trees are awesome, but I don't know how that would happen.
Mm.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean,
From what I've seen, I'm okay with the pillow trees how they are.
yeah, I'm fine with it. Like, I mean, I think if you wanted them to make them more like willow trees, you'd have to have less of the trees in the biome. Because right now, and I mean, I'm looking at one right now.
Mm.
There's a lot. Like, it is the entire biome. It is just the tree. You'd have to have less of them, and then maybe like they'd be taller and more like crazier in shape. But
Mhm.
honestly, like I'm fine. Like if they like literally release this update tomorrow, I'm fine with it. You know?
Yeah, same. So do you see yourself in utilizing this wood like in your designs and builds?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Same here.
Um,
I love it. I think it looks great. I don't know what I'm
it's
going to
just
do with it.
it's really good. Like I don't know. There's something about it. I mean, we've been wanting white wood for a while. Um, the log itself is really good. Like the doors, I think, are
Yes.
what people really like.
The doors look
Um,
amazing. That caught my eye.
yeah, they look wonderful. Like it's just they've done a really like it was probably Jappa or someone else who worked on it. Um,
Mm.
whoever did, like amazing, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, from what I've seen, all of it looks great. The whole set. And I am
Mm,
excited. I'm starting to get personally like I build so many towns and then I just go on to explore in my world, but now the past few months I've been getting into building more refined buildings and making them
mm,
look you know architecturally um I don't know, better looking and it just more
yeah,
coherently put together instead of just, oh, I'm going to make it old deep slate again. It's same motif. So yeah, I'm excited to get this new pillow wood set. I think it'll be fun to incorporate that. I know a lot of people are excited for the white picket fences too.
yeah. I mean, literally, I can't think of a time where like I was genuinely amazed by the entire set because I mean I didn't like bamboo wood from the get go. Cherry
No,
wood,
I don't either. I don't.
it's the word bamboo wood. Like I used to say, birch is the worst word. Bamboo wood is easily.
You
Um,
don't like birch? I'm trying to think what
yeah,
those look like in my head now.
I've never liked birch, but I think I might that might belong. It's a tie. Um, mangrove wood was okay. I'm trying to think like there's something wrong with it. Maybe the
Is it
door,
the trap
but
door?
yeah,
No,
maybe.
maybe it is
Um,
trap. There's a couple trap doors I don't like.
yeah. So like I'm looking at some now. The pale one is actually really nice.
Yes, it
Uh,
is.
birch one's the worst trapdoor. Easily. Like it's just terrible. But like if I just look up the pale set, it's like, literally all of it is just it's good. Like it's really good. Stripped version's really good. The fence gate is really good, and this is something that a lot of players don't really like appreciate. I think,
Mhm.
but a lot of people do. Like when you look at it, the boat's really nice. The hanging sign, a relatively new feature,
I
done
didn't
pretty well.
I didn't
You
look
know,
at the boat. I didn't think
yeah,
about the boat.
it's quite nice. I like it.
I'm gonna have to check those out later. But no, yeah, I didn't think about the boat. By the
Mm,
way, speaking of boats, did you know that you can put one boat in a bundle?
really?
Yeah, which I thought
What?
I was just messing around. I was like, so why can I put a boat in a bundle, but I can't put a sword in a bundle?
Can
I
you
thought,
not? That's so weird.
yeah, I thought it was kind of weird too. One boat will fill one bundle. And I'm like, that's odd. I wonder why they did that. You
Mm,
wouldn't think a boat would go in there, but who
no.
knows? Sometimes they're the world of Minecraft defeats all logic.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly.
So I'm glad to hear that you like the pelt oak wood set. I, I moving on from the wood set. I'm a big fan of this moss from the get go. When I saw the live event, I was a fan of the moss carpet. I love how it creeps up the side of adjacent blocks, and
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
I love that effect. I think it just looks really neat. I can't wait to incorporate
Yeah.
that into some of my buildings.
Do you like the hanging moss as well from like the leaves and stuff like that?
Yes, I do.
That's really nice.
I like it. I've seen a lot of people complain about it. I've seen a lot of people
No, I
hate the
know.
moss.
They're wrong. I'm sorry. Like literally, it looks good. Like it's God. Like like even when it's nighttime, the moss is more like
It gives a
it grows
natural
more
look.
as well. Yeah, like it's like you talk about earlier how like a garden to you is like you know an area that's kept and maintained pretty well. At
Mhm.
night, this biome is like it's like it's been deserted for many years. The moss is everywhere. It's I like what they've done with the moss. I really
I
do.
I haven't played the experimental or the previews, so what I've seen, I I I like it. And the polls I've seen, the Moss was the least favored. Maybe that's changed. I was looking at those polls on Twitter
Mm.
shortly after it was released to us, and or I mean that or announced to us, I should say, that it's coming. But when I saw the Moss, I thought that was a very clever way of the developers doing what they set out to do by decreasing visibility in that biome instead of incorporating heavily in fog. And I think that was a clever idea, honestly.
What do you think? So you say you haven't played it in previews. Do you know about how the sky changes when you enter the biome?
I watched that. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think the video, but it doesn't transition at all. I think they're probably going to try to work that out. But from what I've seen in people on YouTube, is they as soon as you step foot or that it's almost like a boundary line. As soon
Yeah,
as you cross that threshold, the sky changes to that gray. To like it almost
yeah.
like it looks like to me like it's brewing up a storm or something.
It looks so cool. I'm looking at it right now. Like it looks so cool. I
I
don't. I
love
just
that.
appreciate this kind of stuff.
It's very atmospheric. I love that feeling it gives.
Yeah,
And gives me
like
from the images.
like Mojang could have not done this. By the way, they could have not. Like it could have just been a blue sky. Like imagine what they would have done to the game if it was just a blue sky.
That would have made the feel and the sense of that biome totally different. It would have just been
Yeah,
it wouldn't be I think what they're shooting for is an eerie, like what they said in the event, an eerie feel, right? And that's like with the
yeah.
music even. Now, maybe you can correct me, but during the day in this forest is completely silent, right? And then at night it's just ambient sounds.
Yeah, it's the creaking, it's stuff like that.
Could you tell me
It's
how
really good.
did okay, yeah, explain could you expand on that? Like how did it make you feel? Like how was that experience with the music or the sounds?
I mean, to me, it makes the player feel very small and isolated, which the last time they achieved that was with the Warden. I feel, um, but this it's just your footsteps you can hear and the occasional creak. Like you're walking on moss and stuff like that. The flowers are like blooming because it's nighttime now. And then suddenly the creaking appears,
Wow.
and it just like literally just like walks to you, and it's just that sound. I think it's done like perfectly, honestly.
So no, that sounds amazing. I need to maybe play the preview.
I think you should first experience have headphones on, switch it to night, maybe day to like
Okay.
compare between night and day, But at night specifically, just walk through it and just see what in survival, see what happens.
So what do I need to do? Educate me here. I've never done a preview or experimental. I need to back my world up, and then do I just put my then I go back into my world that I play in, but under experimental, right?
I mean, you could do that. I don't do that because I don't want to know where my pale garden is in my actual world, so I just load up a
Okay.
random world and then slash locate biome, pale garden, and then just teleport for the coordinates.
Okay.
Um,
Cool. Cool. That's
yeah,
easy. Just use some commands and just go there
yeah,
in the brand new. Okay. I'm going to try that out today. Michael,
I
thank
would
you.
honestly. It's really good.
I need to experience it. I don't think I can wait for this update to drop. So
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with it, honestly. Like, I'm like, I really want this now. I really do.
well, when do you let's make predictions. When I have a feeling it's going to come out December 22nd. I don't know why. I don't even know what day that's on. I just threw a number out there, but I think it's going to be out before the end of this year.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I think the week we're recording this, Minecraft Bedrock just got a preview. Java didn't get a snapshot. So I interpreted that as um, Java will get what we just got next week, and we'll just get like refinements and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Who knows what they could do the week afterwards? Honestly, it's anyone's guess. Um, but to me, they could just do like polishing and then release the update December. Like I'd be fine with that completely.
Yeah, same. They can release it now. I'd be okay with it because it looks amazing. And I want to talk more now that we kind of talked about the flora. Let's move into, I guess, the I don't even know what this is. Maybe this is flora or fauna. I don't know. The creaking heart. What do you
Mm.
think of this new block, mob block? What way would you term this? A mob block?
Is- Um, I'd say it's a spawner, the Creaking
Okay,
spawner.
that's a good term.
Because because like the spawners, you can break it, stops them from spawning. Um, like the spawners, you can break it and get experience. I think it's the same amount of experience you get from like breaking a spawner and breaking a Creaking heart.
Okay,
Um, obviously, the only difference is you can still touch one and not the other. And one's craftable, one isn't.
I like that.
Um, yeah, it's amazing.
And they just implemented that in this latest preview, right? That you can craft that with the
Yeah,
resin block, which we'll be getting to here in a second. I want to talk about the creaking heart first.
I love it. When I first saw it, I was really intrigued by it. Um, I didn't know what it was like. I knew like obviously we knew it had something to do with the creaking, but I
Mhm.
didn't know about like how it would interact, how it would literally be the heart, despite it being the name, the literal thing that's keeping it alive. You know,
It's
that's
quite
crazy to
interesting.
me.
It's quite interesting. And my gosh, I know I'm going to be doing a couple episodes, and I'm sure you have theories
Mm,
of your own. But to me, this symbiotic relationship is just so unique in Minecraft, vanilla at least. I don't know how it is for like dungeons or legends if they have something like this or some functionality, you know, like this. But
mm.
this is very to me unique. I love I love how I love how the creaking heart is like almost like a parasite in this pale oak tree. Like it's just wedged in there as part of it.
Yeah, it's like it's feeding off the energy that the creaking has. Like it feeds off the creaking dying.
It's
It
interesting.
needs it, and it
And
will spread.
you can't kill the creaking, right? It's
No,
indestructible.
no, you can hit it, but it's not gonna like sharpness five sword is not gonna kill it. No.
Okay, that's what I thought, and it'll send those particle effects. showing you which direction the creaking heart is, correct? When you
which is
move it.
amazing, by the way.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was going to
literally
ask you.
pinpoints you to where it is.
You like that?
Yeah, the animation is, it's, oh my god, it's so good. Like, the way they've done it is really well done, in my opinion.
So so are you a fan of the design of the creaking heart and the of the okay, let's start with the creaking heart. Do you like the design of the creaking heart?
I love it. Yeah,
How it glows at night?
it's so cool. The orange as well. It really complements the biome, I think, of it being orange.
The orange color to me is so beautiful. Orange used to be one of my favorite colors as a kid, so I think that's why I just
Mm,
drawn to it. But I think that
yeah,
also adds to the eeriness, that color. It's such a great color they added to the game.
yeah. Like it's the only color in the biome, which is interesting to me.
That is interesting. I never thought about that.
Because I mean, and before anyone says white is a shade, technically, it's not a color. Grey is also a shade, not a color. Just want to point that out there. So, like, technically, yes, you can dig down and find color, but the actual biome itself, the main primary color is the creaking.
That
That's what has
is
color, which is very weird.
very intriguing point and observation you made. I like that. That's interesting.
And
I
also,
wouldn't have thought of that.
it's also it's also the flower as well, but that
Mhm.
comes alive at night. So does the creaking. So the night has some like effect on the. I don't know. I don't know.
I think
It's
there's
crazy.
one living organism, this creaking heart. I think the eyes, like, what is that called? Well, we haven't got to that question yet, but the
The
eye
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 blossom.
blossom. Yeah, I think that's part
Mm,
of one organism watching, because I read that they're supposed to communicate to each other when they're open. What does
they
that
do.
mean? What does that mean?
So like you'll find them in like little groups huddled together, and they're all closed to begin with, but one will perk up at night, and then two, and then three, and then they're all open together.
Mm.
Because at first they're all closed. All it takes is one of them, and all of them surrounding, like everything in the biome, every flower in the biome will eventually bloom. And then when it's daytime, shut. They'll all slowly transition into being shut, which is
That's so cool.
so good. Like I've never known and it's what the torch flower should have been, in my opinion. Um, like somewhat like torch, like the glowing aspect of the eye blossom, not the closing, but the glowing. But you've never had this kind of thing from a flower. So,
That's so okay. We'll talk a little bit more about the flower here in a second. Let's get back. I
mm.
want so you like the design of the creaking heart. What so what's your initial thoughts on the creaking's design?
I really like it. It's camouflaged perfectly.
Is it?
Like look, yeah, like looking at its legs, it's got the moss that you see
Hmm.
on the blocks, like the hanging moss on its legs. It literally is logs, like pale oak logs. Um, the orange is obviously, as we know, the entire biome, pretty much. The way
Hmm.
it moves, like it's so good. Like it's really nice.
So you enjoy
It's
spatial too?
asymmetrical. Yeah.
I think that's really. I thought that was a really neat concept that Mojang, or how they approached how the creaking attacks you. I was and when they first showed that, I I was sitting in the room with my girlfriend. She was watching, and she was like, "Wow, that's super cool." And I was like, "Yeah, that they they captured that creepy element perfectly." I think.
Mm.
I don't know. I haven't played it. But did it? Does it catch you off guard?
You have to watch it constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it,
Otherwise,
it,
you will lose it, and it will just come at you.
will there be more than one that spawn from one creaking heart?
Uh, I'm not actually sure. I think it's just one per heart. I think they
Okay.
should up. Actually, like they should probably up the amount of freaking hearts in the biome.
Okay.
Um, but you can lose because, like, you're busy taking like the wood, the moss, the flowers. You're busy looking at the biome. You'll forget. Wait a minute. Where is it? And it's right behind you.
Oh
Like
man.
it's literally like the weaving angel, but in Minecraft. It's such a good thought like process. Like it's so unique.
I can't wait to play around with that because I think that's just going to scare me the first time. That one of those
Yeah,
like when I get struck by one and then I turn around and I see it standing there.
yeah. And then it's like the panic of not being able to kill it, and then like think of this as like a new player being a new player. You hit it, nothing happens. It just like orange and grey particles go somewhere, but you don't know enough to be like, oh, I'm gonna go check that out. You know, so you're just there trying everything. Bow, lava can't kill it. By the way, lava can't kill it. Um, like it's so good. It's such a good idea.
I sometimes I'm jealous of the new players because they get to experience all this brand new, and I can't wait to play with. Yeah, I can't wait. I think it's just going to be
Mm,
surreal going into the biome. And if I understand this correctly, when you hit the creaking, we discussed it will emit that particle effect, showing you a relative direction to where the creaking heart is. So because you have to destroy that to destroy the creaking. But doesn't it
yeah,
also, when you hit that, doesn't it create the resin?
it does. Yeah.
Okay. That's really neat. And the resin came out, I have here, I just wrote down so everybody knows. October 23rd is when that was released, just a couple days ago, dropped on us. And this is an amazing new item slash block, brick stairs, wall
Oh yeah.
slabs. Oh my gosh. Let's discuss this, Michael. Um, what do you think of the resin? Tell me its functionality and your thoughts on it.
So I think it's one of the best aspects of the drop, and that's saying something because I now obviously like everything about it, and I think the resin. First of all, no one saw coming. I'm sorry, nobody saw coming.
No leaks?
Um, no, no leaks. It wasn't mentioned in the initial leaks. It wasn't mentioned in the Minecraft Live. It wasn't mentioned at all.
Mm.
But we were sat here thinking, well, what's the incentive to go there? Obviously, you have the word, but what like you can't kill the creaking. So what is the purpose? So like you say, obviously you can hit the creaking. It will tell you where the creaking heart is, but you hit it more, and it will also spawn resin on the oak wood or like on the floor actually as well. I think because it isn't necessarily a block; it's like a layered block. So like think of like the light source in caves. I forget the name of it. Lichen, glow lichen. It's like
Mhm.
that. Um, it's like a layered block. So you can pick this up and put it on like stone, boom, orange ore, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and like you say, there's a lot of like blocks, there's chiseled, there's obviously the standard block, there's the stairs, there's a lot to it. A lot
And it
to it.
looks amazing. I love the aesthetic. It just has a great aesthetic appeal to me.
Yeah,
It looks, I think you posted this. It looks like amber. It does to me.
yeah. That's the inspiration because in a previous Minecraft April Fool's snapshot,
The potato
this
one?
is literally what I'm not sure it could have been. This was actually amber. Literally everything about this is amber. There was an amber like armor trim color. There was amber blocks. This is literally amber. They've added it to the game.
It's amazing. And did you say that it gives off like a light source, kind of such as lichen in
I'm
caves?
not sure if I'm
I
not sure
think
if it gives for light source, but like the fact that you can put lichen on a block, like it's a layered block,
okay,
so you can
yeah,
put lichen on like stone, on like obsidian, on anything.
gotcha.
Um, yeah, so you can like trick people and make it seem like it's a new ore when it's really not technically.
No, that's interesting. I didn't think about using it for tricking people. Yeah, that'd be useful
Mm.
on player versus player. No, that's no. When I saw the resin, so the more times you hit that creaking, the more resin it creates, right? Almost like from stress.
Yeah, so just spam it, like, and you can, obviously, you hit it and it will just give you resin, and you can make farms out of it. People have already, which is kind of crazy to me.
I saw Silent
Um,
Whisper, I believe, is a person
yeah,
that.
he's a different person entirely. He's just on another level. Um, like he's literally just a computer at this. Like I don't know how he does it. Like literally the day it came out, here's a farm, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
Um,
And now he has like a he's like, I think, testing it out. I think up to you can get, I don't know, 60 some. I don't
yeah,
know
yeah,
of those
yeah. That's right.
resin.
It's like 60 creakings before it lags,
Yes.
and there's like thousands and thousands of resin per
I
hour.
was like, oh my gosh, you can make entire structures out of that block. That I'm gonna have to make one of those farms. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to go
and
back to it.
all it takes for you to silk touch the creaking heart, take it with, or make one
Yes, and I
and take it
love
with
that.
you. Yeah, I was surprised about that. I was.
No,
I didn't
I'm
think you'd
glad
be
we
able to
don't
make one.
have to rely on Silk Touch. I really am, because that's
Mm,
a hard enchantment to get, or it has been for me.
yeah, yeah. No, it is. Yeah, it definitely is. For the average player, yeah, it is. Um, I just didn't think they would. I was like, if they would have, this was before they'd done it. They would have done it by now. But then the very next preview, they had it. I'm like, well, okay. But
No,
I mean,
no,
I'm not
I think
mad.
it's
I'm not
amazing.
mad about it.
No,
You
me
you use
neither.
resin, like you use resin to make it. It's like so it all literally links. Like it's so
It's all
good. I
Yeah,
love
it's
how
all
everything
linking
comes
together,
together.
isn't it?
Yeah,
It's they're making their like they I think they did a good job creating their like an ecosystem in this place.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Literally, everything's tied together, and I think that's really neat. That's what makes me think that this is whole biome seems like one living organism. I know that's just my
Mm.
thought and little theory on it, but the eye blossom flower, like we were talking about earlier, I love. Let's talk a little bit about that flower for a second, just because. Well, actually, no. I want to stay in the resin block because besides the brick wall and slabs and being able to craft a creaking heart, I thought this was interesting to read on Minecraft Wiki. Like, I guess in these woodland mansions, that you're going to be able to find resin clumps or resin bricks or blocks, I think, in these woodland mansions, which I think is
Mm.
really interesting lore wise to me.
Yeah. So like, either the illagers tried making something in the Pale Garden but couldn't for whatever reason,
Hmm.
or they have no idea what it is and they're trying to understand it. Like,
This woodland
because
mansions
think
are weird.
think of it this way: they're next door neighbors to the Creaking because it is dark oak, pale oak. You know,
Hmm.
then you will find them next to each other. Um, so they're like, "What the hell is this? This is right next to us. We have no idea what this is. Help!" Um,
Yeah.
now they do have something. They have the witch that probably has had some involvement with it.
Hmm.
Um, I think personally, I think the witch does have something to do with it.
Do you?
But
In the Pill
yeah,
Garden?
100%, 100%. Yeah, it makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah,
Tell me, you want to expand on your theory there?
I just I think the witch knows what it is and is using the pillagers for whatever reason for other purposes, whether it be like safety, because obviously they have weapons. The witch does, but um, safety, like a place to live. Obviously, witch huts, but this is like a full blown mansion. Um, and they're using it. They're using the illagers for that, so they can focus on resin, and they know what resin is, and they know what the creaking is. The creaking, you'll notice, you look away from it, it'll walk towards you and kill you.
Hmm.
None of the mobs have this interaction with the creaking. None of them.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't like the creaking won't. The creeper looks at it, looks away, won't get attacked. You do it, same thing. you're getting destroyed. Why is
Interesting.
that? I think the witch has used what it knows and has turned the Creaking against you, the player, which is the only hostile thing, because the witch doesn't attack anything else. It doesn't attack villagers, doesn't attack zombies, unless it's aggravated. But I mean, in the
Mhm.
in the instance and like in the instance of like a wolf and skeleton, where they'll butt heads instantly, a witch doesn't do
Mhm.
that with any other mob. That's
Mhm.
that I can remember, unless provoked. But that's literally every mob in the entire game. That's not anything new.
Mhm.
I think they know what it is, and they're using it for something.
Can you find witches in this biome in the Pale Garden?
I think you, I think you can. I think you can. Yeah.
Okay. I was curious about that. I just released a witch episode a couple weeks ago, and I agree with you on. I don't. To me, the witch and illager relationship is, how do I say it? I think the witches almost seem to be contracted out like mercenaries in their raids.
Mm,
Because during my research, when I was watching or maybe it was the Minecraft.net article when the witch was released, I read it or saw a video over it. I can't remember, but Mojang was one that said this, that the witch was designed to almost be, it's considered a monster in the game, its classification, but it's supposed to be an offshoot of the villager. Their intention was to make it almost be an outcast of the
mm,
villager. And I thought that was intriguing. But then you see them with these illagers during raids on your villages, like many people have encountered. And to me, I don't think they're teamed up buddy buddy
no,
with these
they're using each other.
exactly. And for what purpose? Besides that, they don't like villagers. I
Yeah.
I'm
I
not sure
mean,
what their means or what their end is.
I think the witch actually was a villager. I think it was the brewing villager,
I thought
um,
this too.
but is for some reason smarter and has succeeded in something. So the villagers have looked at it and been like, okay, let's not kill this one. You know, that's what I think anyway.
No, I agree. I think they're an outcast as well. I
Hmm.
I don't know. There's so many theories that you can draw from this and this biome. Like I said, well, I mean, why do you think the pillagers or the illagers, pillagers, same classification? Why do you think they're all scared of the creaking?
I think they see it as a threat because it's literally the example of knocking on, like literally on your doorstep. Because it is, they are, and it's not something they can kill. They have no idea what it like. They can't kill it. They have no they don't know what to do with it. Um, it's something that is literally in the tree. So they're like, I don't know. What if this happens to our trees? Because it's similar. They're both they're smart enough, I think, to know that. Um, they see the similarities between the pale oak and the dark oak, and they're like, okay, what if it spreads to us and like overtakes us?
Mhm.
Um,
That's what
I
I'm
don't,
thinking.
I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's a thing. I think they're just really scared, personally. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
I no, to me, if the illager is indeed tied to the dark oak forest, to me, the Pale Garden, it being a variant of that, to me, this creaking heart, these Eyeblossom flowers, heck, maybe not the moss so much, but definitely the creaking heart, the Eyeblossom flowers, and the creaking associated with it, to me, seems to be like a fungal infection to these or to these oak trees. And maybe
Yeah,
perhaps this fungal infection goes into these biomes that the illagers are native to, being the dark
Mm,
oak forests, and completely turns them into these pale gardens, these patches where this fungus, or I don't know what you want to call it, this parasitic block, being the creaking heart, literally has this defense that will kill you, and that's driving them out of
yeah,
their biome, their natural habitat. I don't know. That's just a theory
I
of
think,
mine. It seems like if it's a variant, they're a contrast to each other. To me,
yeah.
it just seems logical.
I mean, I have another theory. I think the illagers aren't as smart as they think they are. I think the closest mob the Creaking resembles is a golem, and I think
Ooh, a golem.
why, yeah, why does the pillager have golems locked up at watchtowers, at their, at their towers? Why?
I I thought that they're trying to do research on them, like
Yeah,
because they can't summon them like villagers.
no. So I think they can. I think they try. And I think this is wrong, but I think they think this. I think they can. They think they can try and turn the Iron Golem into the Creaking, but that's not how the Creaking was made.
Interesting.
That's what I think, and I
Interesting.
think that's what scares them. That's what goes into what scares them. They have no idea what it is.
I do think that, kind of going back to something you said a few moments ago about when we were talking about the resin being in their chests in the woodland mansions. Uh,
Mm,
I think you may be right. Maybe they are researching it. I almost feel like I still haven't found Woodland Mansion, but I've read a lot about them. I almost feel like these Woodland Mansions are almost like these weird laboratories for them. I don't know. They have a lot of weird rooms doing a lot of different things.
yeah, I think it's a very interesting structure. Honestly,
And I don't even know if they built it. It doesn't
I don't
seem
think they
like.
did.
I
I don't
don't
think they did.
either. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it.
No, I don't think they. And you could say, well, dark oak and cobblestone, pillager outposts. Yeah, but also, why are there random, almost like banners of the Illager's face up
Mhm.
staircases? Why is there entire rooms of chests that are empty? You know, why is there nothing else here? Like, I don't know.
It's interesting. I'm not sure. I I would kind of like to see Mojang add more to Illagers, like more
Yeah,
structures. Maybe even have like a village, but an Illage.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? I think that would be kind of neat. Go take or defeat these Illager villages. I don't
Mm,
know. I think it'd be
yeah,
interesting to see different structures at least. Maybe not entire village, you know what I'm saying. But
yeah, yeah.
um, I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool. So you're a fan of the resin block, and
Absolutely,
I'm
yeah.
you're so are you going to be incorporating this into your builds?
Um, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think also a part of it as well is the fact I just want lots of it just because it looks cool, but also the armor trim color as well that
Hmm.
it has is so good and works so well on Neverite. Um, I
The
want it.
trim
Like,
armor.
I really want it.
I
Yeah,
can't. Yeah, I was seeing those online, and it looks amazing. They did a great
yeah,
job with that. I definitely want to get some of that trim armor. I made. I hate wearing my trim armor though, because I always die when I'm wearing my trim armor, and I lose it, and it's
yeah.
expensive to make copies of that stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's very expensive. Yeah,
But no, I'm super excited. I'm glad they made that trim. I didn't even think about this whole new biome going, including a whole new trim. I never thought about that.
no, I had no idea. And they could have done this. They could have been like us. They could have forgot about it and said, no, we're done with armor trims. But they're not. They're continuing it on, and I think that is something that we need to actually applaud them for, because they could have quite easily ditched armor trims in 1.20 and
Yeah,
1.21.
yeah, you're right. They could. That probably would have been a really easy thing to do, but
Oh yeah, yeah,
gosh, I don't know how they keep track of all the stuff they have already. Honestly, I don't know how.
yeah,
just just boggles my mind. And I'm excited for the eye blossom flower dyes. I think it's so cool. Okay, this is what I like about the eye blossom flower as well. Besides that, I like its almost dual functionality, how it's something different when it's closed and then something different when it's open. Two different dyes
yeah.
and two different functions in suspicious stew. I thought that was really cool how they implemented that. I think one can make you nauseous, one can cause blindness. I don't know which is which, if it's open or closed. But what
Mm.
do you think about that? Did you, when you were playing in the preview, or did you play around with the flowers?
Yeah, I did, and I think it's interesting that they poison bees,
That is
which is
sad.
very interesting.
I
Yeah,
thought
I don't like that. I love bees, so it's really sad to see.
I thought it
Um,
was kind of crazy that Mojang made something that would kill bees.
yeah, I mean it happens when this makes sense because it happens. It probably does happen in real life, but the bee will go up to it, the eye blossom, it will be fine, and then once it's pollinated, which you can tell when it's like white and stuff,
Oh, wow.
then it gets poisoned.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really
So
sad. I don't like it.
so wow, so it gets poisoned by pollinating this flower. I thought you had to feed it to it. I didn't know that.
Maybe you do,
No, I
from
never.
what I've seen,
That was just my
yeah, from
assumption.
yeah, that's my assumption as well. But
That's insane.
yeah, it's really
So
harsh.
I wonder why they. Yeah, there's stuff like that in real life. I mean, I'm sure in over in United Kingdom, you guys are probably facing what is that, colony collapse disorder and whatnot
Yeah,
with beehives. It's rampant here in the United States.
mm.
We're losing bees really horribly from
But I
insecticides,
mean,
funguses, and parasites and stuff. So this is
I mean,
interesting that they added this into the game.
yeah, but there's one small problem with this. If if we're allowing bees to get poisoned by a flower, why is it a no-no when fireflies get eaten by frogs? What is
Wait,
the like
is that a
you know
thing?
yeah, you know how like when we were supposed to get fireflies, but then they were like, no, frogs like can't eat fireflies because they get poisoned.
That
But
was the
it's a
reasoning?
yeah, but it's okay for them to eat literal magma, and it's also okay for bees to get poisoned by flowers. Like what?
Yeah, I
Like
don't
I hope they
understand a couple of
yeah, it's not,
Mojang's reasoning behind some things. I've seen reasoning like, oh, they can't add sharks into the game because sharks are going extinct. Well, you got polar bears in the game, which are almost
yeah,
gone off the planet.
polar
You
bears,
can
pandas,
kill those all day in Minecraft, and then now you're
yeah,
poisoning bees, which are almost endangered in some parts,
they are,
and
yeah,
now you can poison them with this flower. So I don't. To me, that logic is ridiculous, anyways. You know what I mean?
mm,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. If I'm going to kill a polar bear in Minecraft, it's not going to make me want to go to Antarctica or wherever they are, Alaska, wherever, and go hunt polar bears.
mm, yeah,
That to me, that's ridiculous. And plus, yeah, it's still hypocritical because, I mean, the you can out poison bees.
yeah. It's really silly.
So give me sharks and some other animals. You know.
Yeah, I hope this like changed their perspective on it because it should.
Same. I think so too. I think you should be able to incorporate any animal, honestly. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get a drop from it, you know what I mean?
Mm,
Or make it so that's what you want to get. But I don't know. I like the new eye blossom flower. I like that you can get gray dye, orange dye, and I don't know. I just think there's a lot of lore around those flowers as well because they look just like the creaking heart, or I mean, the creaking's eyes.
Yeah,
So you are you a fan of the flowers?
I love the flowers. Like you say, I love how you can get two dyes from it. I like how it's in two different states, closed and open. I think it's like a really nice approach because again, they could have just done a normal regular flower, but this one has actual like substance behind it, and that's really good and like nice of them to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, they put a lot of thought
And
into it.
yeah, and also it finally gives reason to the name Pale Garden, in my opinion.
Do you think they're going to add some more to this garden before its release?
Uh, I would like them to. I'd like to add another flower. Um, but at this current point, I'm kind of like I'm not expecting anything.
I wasn't expecting the resin or any of
No,
this, so
yeah,
I'm quite satisfied so far. But I'm just the way they've been going. I almost would be shocked if they just added another little item or something into this before its release. I don't know what to expect anymore,
yeah. Honestly,
but I do think it'll come out shortly. I think it'll come out before Christmas. I just have a hunch.
yeah. I don't think Mojang like although we've got a new system, they don't want to drop the whole winter update thing because it's too good of them to ignore. Because
Yeah,
of holidays and stuff like that.
that's that's something that they do quite often, right? Is a winter
Yeah,
update. Okay, I thought so. It seems like from all the wiki articles, they always have something dropping around December. It looks like.
yeah.
And so that's what makes me feel like, okay, I think it'll be around December, unless they're just trying to catch us totally off guard. And maybe they'll just,
Honestly,
maybe,
yeah.
yeah, who knows? Any other thoughts on the Pale Garden, Michael?
Um, no, I just think it's a really like well done and thought out biome. You can tell that it is like properly thought out and there's actual like substance behind it. There's now reason to go into it for a lot of players. It offers almost everything in my opinion.
I agree with you 100%. Do you think you'll be using the Creaking Heart for a defense around your villages or
Um,
bases?
I might use it for like so. My plan is to build like a research laboratory in the biome, and the whole purpose is for them to like study the whole phenomenon. Is what I'm going to refer to it as of the creaking heart and what it does. So yeah, I'm going to have a lot of them dotted around.
I
Um,
like that. I like that
yeah,
idea. That's really neat. I'm sure you'll be posting that on Twitter.
yeah.
I can't wait to see that. And for people out there in the audience that don't know where to find you, where can they find you, Michael?
They can find me on Twitter, definitely. MichaelTBH, funny enough. Um, yeah, I'm most active on there, and you'll see me talk about stuff like the Pale Garden quite a bit on there. So
Yeah, all sorts of
yeah,
stuff, and you also post um your world. I like how you post
yeah,
on your world. How's that going, by the way?
um, yeah, it's going good. Yeah, I think when I last spoke to you, I was very hesitant about it, like moving on from our previous world.
Hmm.
Um, but I've got a lot of builds in mind. Like I'm building like a map, struck like a I don't like it's like a dome build, and it's like with where my maps are going to be. Like you know how people have like map walls and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, I want to make like a proper structure because I think that'd look cool. But yeah, I'm just taking like you, I'm taking my time in the world because I think that's how you can best enjoy Minecraft if you just take time and play at your own pace.
I think so. I think so too. So, have you gone to the Nether?
I have, yeah, got
Okay.
potions and stuff.
Have you been to the end?
Nope, I don't plan on going. I don't plan on going to the end at all this year.
Oh wow. Okay. Neat.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are. Yeah. Okay. Cool. No, I jumped in. I think Twitch, right, is when
Mm,
I was the first time I uh saw you play, and I was seeing your world, and you've done a lot. You've got some massive buildings. It looks really neat. What was that you were
yeah.
building out in the ocean? I can't
Those are
remember.
like those are mob farms because
Yeah, that was.
the way mob farms work, you can like if you build them above the ocean, the mobs can't spawn anywhere. They'll spawn on your platform.
Hmm.
Um, so then you put them through a system that kills them. They'll just die. You get the drops. It's easy.
Hmm.
It's very the ocean is very good for mob farms. Very good.
I plan on building one because my brother showed me his. It's not like the one you were building because yours was more of a guardian one, what a guardian farm, right?
Oh
But
yeah,
I
yeah. I
think
built that one as well. Yeah.
I think that's when I was watching you, and that was really, gosh, that looked elaborate. But I plan on my brother's mob farms out in the ocean too, and since this bundles drop, I found myself in short supply of string, so
Mm,
I need to get a mob farm going, which
yes.
takes a massive amount of blocks. I've learned. I found a video and it was like, wait, how much cobblestone or do you need for this? I didn't realize. I can't believe there's huge structures.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's very, but it's also the more you put in, the more you get out. So like,
True.
of course you can do the basic level. Of course you can, but you're not going to get the same rates and the same amount of stuff you normally get. So
Do you see yourself making a creaking farm?
absolutely, yeah, I need that resin, a lot of it as well, just to
Same,
have.
because I think I'm going to incorporate that in my religious buildings in my world. That resin.
Yeah,
I love the color. I don't know what I'm going to do
yeah,
with it all. I can't believe we can make stairs out of it. I think that's going to look really neat having a staircase made out of that.
mm. And the chiseled version as well with the Creaking's face on it. I think it's really well done.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
The chiseled block has the Creaking's face.
it does. It does. Yeah,
That is so cool. Wow. I don't. I'm gonna have to start reading online because I'm sure there's a lot of theories and lore out there now with that.
mm.
Just
Yeah. There's
the
there's a
face
ton.
carved on it. That is crazy. Okay, I didn't realize that. Mojang just keeps on delivering. I can't wait to play it. Well,
Yeah,
Michael, I really appreciate you coming back on the show. I know we had a lot to talk about, and you're always a great person. You're very knowledgeable, and I love having you come on, and my listeners enjoy listening to you very much. So, thank you for coming back on the show.
yeah. Thank you for having me. Like, or whenever there's something going down, which these days is every week. With Minecraft, I'm always down to talk about it, and I'm always down to pop up on here and just discuss everything that's gone on. And there's a lot that's gone on. And I think we've done pretty well in talking about it all.
I think so. I think so. I mean, I don't think we're missing anything. We pretty much did a good rundown on. I know that there've been doing like minor tweaks. Like I think the creaking now kind of sprints at you when your back's
Yeah,
turned,
yeah,
which
it's terrifying.
so you have experienced that.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It's
Did you like
honestly,
that? Did you like that bug fix?
yeah, it feels more. I don't know what the word is, but it feels more alive, which is kind of funny, given its like heritage, like its presence in the world. It's dead, but it feels more like like it feels ready, if that makes sense. Like the previous
Hmm.
version didn't really seem that well made because it was just a mock up, I think. But this one, they've
Okay.
properly taken it and refined it and made it 10 times better, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. I like seeing that they made it run a little bit faster as well, and I think that'll make it even more challenging, which
Hmm.
which I appreciate the challenge. You know what happened to me last night? I was just playing a little bit in my world, and I went down my cave in the Badlands, or my mine, I should say, not cave, to get some gold. And this has not happened to me in, I don't know, maybe a year. But all of a sudden, out of my peripheral, I saw something green, and I was like, "That's a creeper," and and boom, it blew up. I don't know how it hardly damaged me, but it scared the living daylights out of me. And I told my
Yeah.
girlfriend, she heard me shout, and I was like, "Whoa!" And she goes, "What happened?" I was like, that hasn't happened to me for a long time. I was completely blindsided by this creeper. I was like, that's what I love about this game. It's just
Mm.
stuff like that. Every once in a while, I get completely caught off guard, and I can't wait to experience that with the creaking because I think that's going to really just be fun.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna get caught off guard quite a lot, I imagine. Everyone is. It's gonna be hard to like get used to, I think. For me personally.
I can imagine. And Michael, I know that I keep trying to say goodbye, but I appreciate you coming to the show. You might have to come on 2 times a month the way that they're making these drops.
Yeah, if I have to, yeah, that's what I'll do.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to have you come back on the show. And I
Yeah, of
appreciate
course.
your time. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
You have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Hello, Minecraftians. Thank you so much for listening to Realm News. It means the world to me that you enjoy the show that much that you tune in every week to hear how I put the real in Realm and expand your mind one block at a time. Well, if you really enjoy this podcast and want to express it further, then you can contribute by simply following the show by clicking that follow button, or write a review and rate the show, or do all 3 of those. I love the feedback, and that would help me get to my goal of 100 followers. You can even go a step further by making a monetary donation to support the show by going to bio.link/realmnews, all lowercase. Again, that's bio.link/realmnews. And click on that Ko-Fi button and buy me a coffee. You can donate as little as $1. The money really goes a long ways, folks, and helps perpetuate the show. I have a plan to create a website so Realm News can be more accessible and interactive with our amazing community that is amassing. All is appreciated, truly, and happy crafting.